So I actually wrapped a banana peel around my toe. Hey, what's up guys? This is Beth. If you're new here, welcome. This is a channel all about fitness and ballet. I'm actually a professional ballet dancer in Canada and a fitness instructor as well. I teach Pilates. So if you are interested in those types of things, stick around. I'd love to have you. And today we're talking about foot problems thanks to point work. Point work as it is never fully comfortable. It's not exactly a normal thing, so we want to make it as comfortable as we obviously can. Blisters are definitely the #1 problem that dancers get, especially in the beginning when your feet are developing calluses. My #1 blister trick, second skin. This thing is literally the holy grail to ballet. So these little squares, it comes with 200. They look like this, but they are these little gel squares, and they don't actually do anything to treat the blister, but they do help you from actually feeling it. So it's really great for point work. Just make sure that you have some tape available so that it doesn't just squish in your point shoe and then get lost. So you do need tape over it. Hack #2 is penitent cream. If I have a blister and it just seems to be like causing me a lot of pain, it's really tender, the tape seems to be falling off, the second skin isn't working, this is actually something that will help treat the blister, so it will dry it out. You won't feel as much pressure, so that is something to consider. These things, these like tubs are huge, and I have not gone through mine. This is probably like 2 years old. I should get a new one. All right, let's talk about heel blisters. So this one used to kill me. I used to get so many heel blisters, and I will show you why. It didn't really seem to matter where my heel specs were on my point shoes. If I had a higher heel or a lower heel, it always seemed to rub and I would get a... So for me, I like to make sure that I don't do this. I don't like to sew inside on the back elastic. That causes extra rubbing and my feet really just don't like it. So what I do instead is I sew on the outside and then on the inside. So I had a lot of bruised toenail issues when I switched from Freeds to Gainer Mindens, which kind of seems to be a bit of like a natural transition, it seems, which is very strange. A lot of people have their big toenails bruised when they transition to gainers. I don't know if it's just the pressure, but I had a really hard time getting rid of it. So underneath the nail, there is blood pooling. So that is what is happening. Ideally, we try to fix the fit in the point shoe to make sure that that doesn't happen, because dancing with a bruise on your toenail is not fun. Talk to the person who's fitting your point shoes and make sure that they are aware that you are getting a bruised toenail and it never happened to you before, and see what they can do to fix it. So just so you know that bruised toenails, it's not something that you can really treat. Obviously, it's just like any bruise, you want to stay off of it, but with the shoe, you have to make sure that it is fitting you properly. So I actually ended up switching out of gainers. I had lots of issues with the shoes, and I ended up switching to Grishko's ingrown toenails. So ingrown toenails are, I don't know why I said that with a smile. I'm so sorry for anybody who has an ingrown toenail right now. So it's basically the skin is kind of getting cut by your toenail, which is kind of growing into your skin. Like, what are you doing, nail? Just stay in your area. So what we want to do with ingrown toenails is obviously create a space from the skin and the nail. What most people like to do is they actually take their second skin and they kind of put it underneath the nail and then they tape over it. So that has helped a lot of people, because the pressure of the nail into the skin is what is the painful part. So if we can get the nail to avoid the skin, eventually it should go away. Also, you want to cut a little V in the middle of your big toenails. It helps to kind of train the nail to tell it where it should grow. So I know it sounds strange, you don't need to do a huge V, just a tiny one, and try to round out the corners of the big toenails. Next up on the hit list, things you want to avoid, but sometimes you just can't. Corns. So I thought I was gonna go through my entire dance career and not have a corn. I was so excited, but then I got a corn. You guys, it's not fun. It's like, it's awful. It's awful. So picture me in Sleeping Beauty rehearsals where you're hopping on point. You're doing like canary, getting your first corn. It's a big moment. I Googled and I found some pretty weird things that I was like, this must work. It's so weird, it's gonna work. So I actually wrapped a banana peel around my toe and it did nothing. I just looked really stupid. I actually soaked my foot in hot water and bleach, just a little bit of bleach, just a little bit. People said that that was all you needed and that it was gonna dry it up and it was gonna help it, and it did not at all. I felt like the hot water actually did more than the bleach, so soaking my feet helped. I found that that really worked. The other thing that, thank God, a friend finally told me after me being in like tears and so much pain for hours and hours looking across the internet for like what other fruit I can wrap around my toe. She was like, have you tried polysporin? And I was like, no. So polysporin, what you need to treat a corn. If your corns are obviously really, really painful, you may need to get them dug and cut out with a scalpel from the doctor. So you may need to actually visit your podiatrist or your doctor for them to do that. However, mine was apparently not that bad, which I would argue, but that's okay. So for corns, really make sure that you are taking your shoes off in between rehearsals, trying to air the area out. And another thing that can really help is getting this putty. Physiotherapists have it, doctors may have it as well, podiatrists would definitely have it. It's a little putty you can actually put to space the toes out. Usually people get corns in between their toes and it's caused from the friction, and it's like a really mean, awful blister. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this was helpful. I really hope that if you guys are suffering from any of these foot problems right now, that tomorrow in pointe class or in ballet class even, sometimes you can even feel them in your soft shoes. I really hope that these tips have helped you and that you don't feel them in your soft shoes, you don't feel them at home, you don't feel them in your pointe shoes, and you can live and dance happier.